My mental was atrocious this tournament. I'm starting to feel bad about tech chasing people now, which is super funny.
Imagine if a DK just decided, oh, I'm not gonna hit my up airs anymore.
Yeah, I'm not gonna cargo throw.
The whole thing is just me and Slime spending money on it. A lot of the top StarCraft players participate in these pop-up leagues that are funded by fans, and I thought that was super, super cool.
One more thing too, be sure to check out the Fly Fighters YouTube channel for all things FGC. We're gonna be coming out content, Street Fighter, Strive, Melee. Be sure to check that out. We got a lot more content coming up.
So your first set that I think was captured was Magi.
Yeah, that set in particular was one of the last couple of times I've played Magi. It's always been like, you know, it's even, and then she falls off balance a little bit, or she flubs a little bit, and then she gets the grab in the knockdown, and I'm like, oh well, I guess this is for free, or I can just take this. You know, it's always like, our sets is always like, I just generally like, I want to just outplay her. I don't want to just like punish flubs. Like no one like, we always want to win in an honest. We always want to win fair and square. So it sucks when your opponent, you know, is giving you free stuff like that. But that was the first set where she generally played like how she normally plays versus Sheik, and exposed some of my habits versus Falco. And yeah, I figured like she's always, you know, our sets I've won the past few, but they've always been close competitive sets, but I think that was one of the first where she generally like stuck to her game plan, was very solid in her execution, and had a very solid game plan, and yeah. I mean, granted, perfection in Melee is impossible. There's always gonna be an asterisk on sets, but that is kind of just like a Sheik thing, though, right? I mean, you know, her punish in tournament is, you know, it locks you down, and it can snowball if they're not playing super hot and they get grabbed. They're stuck. You know, it can be that stuck feeling that Spacies players have in tournament is pretty nerve-wracking versus Sheik, which is why Sheik's a good tournament character. But that being said, you just want to, like, we all want to win fair and square in an honest way. We want to genuinely feel like we've, like, yes, I was playing smart. I didn't just get free openings, or my opponent didn't just mess up in front of me.
Do you feel like if you got an opening and tech chased them to death, would you feel that way, or would you feel like it was too free and it was handed to you, even though you passed the execution test?
If the opening was honest, like if I generally got the outplay. But I think as of late, it's funny because not that my tech chasing has gotten worse, but I'm starting to feel bad. I'm starting to feel bad about tech chasing people now, which is super funny. Like, even like versus my set with Fiction or Magi, I mean, this is definitely like an insecurity thing where it's like, oh man, like I don't want to feel like I said, I want to win fair and square. I don't want to, you know, not cheese, but I'm starting to feel so I'm throwing in, like, I'm mixing in Ftilt, I'm going for reads, and not just relying on the grab and getting the knockdown. And I don't know if it's because I don't think I'm getting bored with Sheik. I think I'm just trying to expand my toolkit. Because I do think that, like, my punish game got me super far early on. But in the grand scheme of things, like, I'm coming up close to 10 years now of competing in tournaments. But in terms of competing at, like, top level, like the very, very top level, I'm in the cradle. I'm the baby wearing diapers, sucking the baby bottle. Like, I'm still very I'm still new, right? Which is why I'm, you know, losing to these DLC characters, right? You know, and that'll take some time, right? And I understand that this does take time, you know, even if it is Sheik Samus or Sheik Yoshi, Sheik DK. It's like, yeah, it's a good matchup, but in terms of like tournament experience on stage, I'm still new, still the early stages, despite having, you know, won big tournaments and come up so fast. So
what you were saying before is that, like, you'll drop tech chases earlier because you feel like you have to give more.
Yeah, it's because I don't want that to be the reason that I beat them. I start to feel bad for beating these Spacies.
But when you were the underdog, you didn't feel bad.
No, I got the grab. I double pummeled. You know.
Tech chasing is so hard. Perfect tech chasing is like just on the bridge of human reactability, and you're kind of the only person that can consistently do it. So it's not like you're wobbling them, right? Like, it is something unique.
Yeah.
A few people can do. So it's still interesting to watch. I like watching. Modern Melee has ways to mix it up, and if you can react to every single one and do the right thing, I'm like, that's an outplay. Imagine if a DK just decided, oh, I'm not gonna hit my up airs anymore.
Yeah, I'm not gonna cargo throw. Yeah, we all at the end of the day, we all gotta use our character to its full potential and play to win, you know? Otherwise, why am I playing Sheik if I'm not like punishing to the best of my ability? Did Armada feel bad when he was CC down smashing and he's like, man, like, you know, I won, but he did run into those down smashes.
It's crazy the lengths that our minds will go to discredit ourselves. You know, like after you won Starleague, I think you said on the mic that like it was just a little underwhelming. Like finally, like winning feels a little bit underwhelming. But if you went back 10 years before you knew how to do anything and you saw yourself doing the things that you're doing, you would think that it's impossible. You would be like, I could never get that. I could never get there.
No, I'd shit myself. I would not. Like 14-year-old me with, yeah, maybe in a different universe, I'd be playing against Amsa, the Red Yoshi, to win. And you know, people are like, oh, he played so well. I'm just like, man, we at the end of the day, we all just want to be, we all just want to get that good dopamine from Melee. We all just want to like foray ourselves into the Melee, into the game and be like, this is what I want my game to look like. This is how I want it to feel. You know, like winning, the phrase a dub is a dub. A dub is a dub, regardless if you were proud of how you played or not.
I wonder if that's unique to Melee because money has never been on the line. So a dub is not just a dub. Being cool while getting the dub is the double dub.
Yeah, no, there's some extra things. Like I don't know, if we had some NBA money, then I'd be triple pummeling, dude. But this time I was like genuinely just trying to talk, have fun while playing, because I think the past few times when you take the game super serious and you just like furrow your brow and just take it very serious and you lose, that sucks. And you know, we're on the yard set playing a children's party game for a tournament, and I decided, I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna have a little fun with it, you know? Yeah, I felt that while I was playing Fiction, like he would like mess up on my shield, I would get the grab, but then I'd go for like Ftilt, and you know, obviously that's still like a tech chase, and I do think like it's still a tech chase, but I was deliberately like not punishing as hard because I wanted to beat him in other ways. I wanted to beat him, and I wanted to like outplay his movement. I wanted to like, you know, have a conversation. You know, he said after, he's like, we're talking, right? We're having this conversation, and I'm like trying to say something different, and you're just hitting me with the same responses, like grab, 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 grab. And then he's like, I'm trying to switch it up, play the level 3, and you're stuck playing the level 1. And granted that like he did say that in kind of like a salty way. He's essentially saying that like, yeah, I'm out here trying to play you and you're just monkey grabbing and playing big Chungus Melee. I do agree with him, like but like at the end of the day, like Sheik's win con is the grab and the knockdown, you know? So I think this turn was my realization to like stop getting in my own head and just remember that playing to win is fine. It's fine to play it's fine to play to win. It's fine to re-grab until 63 and then go for the dash attack, you know?
In this case, it's not even you getting in your own head. It's like you're letting the opponent get in your head, which is even worse. You're letting them convince you to play different, which you gotta avoid at all costs.
Yeah, this was my big break. It's like, yes, I'm having fun. You know, even versus Joshman, we're chopping it up, and you know, Josh is also like, you know, he's a lighthearted. I mean, I love Josh. Yeah, I think to an extent, I just have to be like yeah, haha. But if you mess up, I'm going to get the grab.
Dude, you versus Marth is like a thing of beauty. I've never seen a Sheik hit that hard.
Yeah, I've always felt like super solid versus Marth. I mean, going back to like Marth has been like a very nostalgic matchup for me back in the day, because you know, I learned from Josiah Tech, who's an old school Marth and has been playing since 07. Red Marth learned from Ken, was on the DC++ hubs, like grinding old school Marth. And so like Red Marth, like when I play Zane, it's like almost like nostalgic because it brings me back to like my first experience, like improving and like slowly starting to beat Josiah Tech, because he was such a like influential person for me. I'd say it's one of my I would say it probably is my best matchup statistically in terms of like wins and losses.
Next set, Joshman.
Yeah, him in particular is someone who I feel like when I'm playing him in tournament, I'm like, oh, I gotta switch it up, or it's like he's very good against my strengths, therefore I have to play somewhat different. And yeah, him in particular is like, you know, we talked about he calls, you know, like spamming shield grab or spamming your win con. He calls it a Chungus melee, where you're not actually playing melee, you're just like playing like, oh, please hit me, or please run into this. And yeah, so I think that when I play him, I don't want to win versus him because I got the shield grab, or because he messed up on, you know, I want to generally outplay him and just prove that I'm not like carried by Sheik's knockdown.
Do you feel that you won playing that way this set?
This set in particular is like, yeah, like he didn't play as hot as he normally does versus me. As the set went on, I was like, okay, I should just, you know, clean this up. Like this is, you know, I'm here to win. I shouldn't feel bad about, you know, the means that I have to do to win.
Tech chasing is not some like super easily accessible thing that everyone can do. No one can do it consistently except for some reason you.
in Spark. I got a good friend in Spark because he is as of late his tech chasing has been better than mine. But yeah, no, it does come from a place of salt, and even like Fiction says like he'll apologize to me after, because he does say it in the kind of a condescending way. You know, he's tight, you know, and I would be too. It's all well and good. I totally understand, but I think this tournament, if there's anything to take away from it, is for me to just realize like, yo, like don't give up. Don't give up because you're like, oh man, I'm not playing that well. I'm relying on I'm playing this C game and just hoping that I get my punish going. But yeah, this tournament was like my wake up call to have some confidence in myself, like how I used to back when I was on the come up, to get my confidence back.
It's like it's a circular problem where you feel bad, so you think you want to play different, which is causing you to probably hesitate in your punish game because it's not your bread and butters. And then you feel bad because you're like, oh, I'm not playing well. But you're not playing to win like you used to when you're on your come up, and you weren't expected to beat these people, so you did literally everything you could.
After the set, if I win, I want them to be like, yeah, he genuinely outplayed me. You know, I messed up, but at the end of the day, he called me out. Beat him in other ways. I didn't want the set to end and have him be like, oh, you just you just kept grabbing me.
Well, they're never gonna get up and be like, yo, that was so awesome how you
of course. Yeah. No, that being said, they're not gonna be like, dude, thank you so much for beating me.
Thank
like,
you so much for that experience.
Dude, you're so good. Actually, can we play that again? I would love to play that again.
So next up is Kodorin. You guys have played together a ton now. How do these sets go?
When he does stick to his game plan and hits his punishes, like his tech chasing in particular, he feels harder than Zane sometimes. This set, not gonna lie, this is very like sloppy. It felt like we were both trying to cover things that we both were not doing. A little bit of spaghetti. Running jab and running F-tilt in this matchup is an important mix-up. If Marth is trying to whiff punish the F-tilt and Cheeks go for the jab instead, it's unreactable. The timing mix-up is different. Yeah, by this point, I was like, man, don't have it be for nothing. Don't come all this way from losers and ease up. There are certain moments in the set where I was like, oh my god, this is Sheik Yoshi. I can just do, like, Yoshi just dies here. Like, I was like, holy shit, this matchup sucks for Yoshi. I was like, wait, hold on. I was like, yeah, maybe I'm not super solid versus Yoshi, but my mentality was definitely much better versus Amsa than the other players. It was a lesson for this tournament to not give up on myself.
Or change your playstyle for someone else or for some other arbitrary thing.
I felt like I was accepting that I was about to repeat what happens in the majority of our sets. I do think I still have a lot to work on in terms of like Sheik Yoshi. And what I mean by Sheik Yoshi, I mean versus Amsa, because he's just literally a different character. Like Amsa's Yoshi is a different character, and there's a reason why he's the only one. You know, similar to Axe, people don't realize that both of them are like stupid nice versus Sheik. Like versus like the non-top Sheiks, it's a tough matchup like in tournament. You know, it's a terrible matchup for both Yoshi and Pika. They're pretty much the only two that consistently like beat Sheiks. Every set this year, I felt more and more comfortable playing Yoshi and being less surprised by what he's doing and understanding my strengths a little bit more. For neutral, like if we're looking at like a tree, the spaced bear or the turning your back and bearing is like the main tree, and then the roots and everything else follows after. I think bear is just amazing versus Yoshi in every way, and the second part is good, like having good armor awareness, knowing when he's capable of armoring or when he's probably going to armor. Like I said, there's a lot that I need to work on and have good armor recognition, but this is like this, right? Like right here, that drift.
That was a crazy drift, yeah.
Yeah, it's like small things like that I was slowly starting to implement, because, you know, even if you don't get the hardest punish, as long as you don't get reversaled, and Yoshi is a reversal character, so as long as you don't give Yoshi that, it becomes a lot easier. Like Yoshi's stocks will just melt and you'll be like, oh, that was easy. Amsa is really, really good at like making you uncomfortable if you jump too close, putting Sheik in a bad spot on the platform and getting like up air and juggling Sheik. I'm also looking forward to playing him again, because I really want to flesh out some things here, because there's a lot of sloppy situations, and I do think, yeah, I'm putting myself in pretty dangerous spots and giving him what he wants, and also being a little bit more trippy with what I want.
Nice, man. Well, congrats on the Starleague win. I'm going to try to get Aiden on for an interview.
Yeah, I think Socal Starleague turned out really, really well. I think my general goal was to create an interesting local Melee league that touched every level of play in SoCal. So what is something I could make that was super compelling to participate in for this peak level talent to like the mid top level talent that's a little further down, all the way down to this like just under PR tier of player. Like, how could I make something that made all of those people want to participate and provided something like fresh and competitive for them? And I think I did that successfully. Like, I made something that was really compelling for every level of player to participate in. I think it was particularly motivating for that PR or like mid under PR level in SoCal, where people actively attended locals because they had goals. There was a lot of like grinding to make sure that you qualified into the league or maintained your league spot, because it was seen as like so valuable, because people really wanted to participate in these events that I think, compared to the average local you would go to, provided a lot more opportunities to play like quality sets of Melee. And then besides that, I think from a spectator perspective, it was just fun to follow and watch. You got so many matches between top people. In Division 1, we had like such a wide variety of guests from across the country. So seeing how those people stacked up against people locally in SoCal, and then also within the league, like those who attended multiple events, seeing who could consistently perform the best in a format that I think was like pretty cutthroat, especially in D1 when you got down to that single elim bracket at the end. And I think the person who won the most was Jake. He won the most like regular season events, which was really cool to see. And then to see him come out at the championship, which was much more stacked, tons of guest players from all over the country, and he managed to win the entire thing over somebody like Amsa, who has had such a dominant year, bar his sets against Cody. Jmook beating him twice, really, really impressive, especially with their record and their history. Like, it's been pretty heavily in Amsa's favor overall. Not that I didn't think it was possible, but it was like Amsa's looking so good this tournament this year. So I think that being the culminating event was really, really cool too. I was really proud of like the structure and the format of that. As far as things that could be changed in the future, I think we gave a crack at running a custom stage for a couple of the months. We tried out Smashville and Melee for a little bit, and it was interesting to see how players engaged with that. We actually tried that because so many players wanted custom stages. That was a request from like a lot of top level players, which surprised me that they wanted that. I think the way we approach and like test those stages and include them in the rule set going forward, if at all, needs to be revisited, but I'm looking forward to digging into that problem. And I think the only other big thing I want to change, or maybe the two other things I'm looking to change, are the overall structure of the league, I think one thing that could have been a bit better was there wasn't very good. There wasn't a lot of weight between performances in events that weren't like back to back from one another. So like your performance in like week 1 versus your performance in week 5 were very unrelated from each other. Like 1 affected 2, 2 affects 3, and so on. But having something that is a better indicator of your performance across the whole league and rewarding that, I think would be good. And I want to take some time to try and rework that. And then the other thing is it's all out of pocket. So the whole thing is just, me and Slime spending money on it, which is fine. Like, we want to do it. I think it's been really exciting to like have the resources and time to put something like this together with the spot we are at in life now. And I'm really happy that we can do that. I think, however, like when we got to like the championship or some of these bigger Division 2 events that we were doing at the end of the season, the costs like do add up. And it came across to me that in the StarCraft community now in Korea, a lot of the top StarCraft players participate in these pop-up leagues that are funded by fans, and they have like ongoing prize pools and resources that are funded by those fans. And I thought that was super, super cool. So I am considering this idea of launching something like a Patreon where I announced that like, hey, here's what your money goes towards in this league. It'll go to fly out players, provide resources for this tournament. There will be a public ledger so you can see like what all the money goes towards. I'll keep literally none of it. It's not for me. It's just to be an organized space that if you care about like funding competitive Melee, you could put it into this this fund basically, and then see how it gets spent every month, and that helps fund the league month to month. And if that could be something that is like spread around and successful, which I think we have the platform to make it be, I think it would just help. It would just help buffer the costs of these events a bit. So I'm hoping to do something like that because the model in StarCraft has become actually quite successful. And I think our community is in a similar space where a lot of the fans and a lot of the engagement comes from an audience that's older and has jobs now and likes to support this thing that has been around in their lives for so long. So I'd like to see if we can like replicate some of that success.
We're so grassroots that we need to be open to unique and creative ways to get money into the scene. I think a Patreon is definitely one of those. So yeah, I applaud getting creative. I applaud all the work and money that you and Slime have put in already just to keep this game alive. I interviewed Jake last week for this video, and he was really commending you guys for all the work and all the love that you guys have for this game.
Thanks. Yeah, it changed my life. So pretty much all of my success in life comes from Melee, at least in some roundabout way. So it's hard not to love it.
You and I we probably have the most hours watching Jake in maybe the world. You got me beat, I'm sure. Probably. The fans want to know, when are we going to get Jmook on the yard?
Jmook on the yard? That's a tough call. Not a lot of Melee players making it on the yard, if I gotta be honest with you.
All right, well, I think people just gotta put in the comments how bad they want Jake on the yard.
They do. That would swing it if enough people ask.
Get Jmook on the yard. Put that in the comments.
That's what it would take. Dude, half our audience doesn't even like the Mango episodes.
Really?
Yeah. The Mango episodes actually get a lot of flack.
Patreon app at least.
Patreon app would make more sense, I think.
Hey, we can do a page.
But I do really love that. And one thing I didn't really expect out of the yard is the number of people that have said they started playing or started going to tournaments because we talk about it on the show. And that makes me really happy. I do think there's like kind of this, in this post-Slippy era, there's a large amount of people that got into it because of us. And that it makes me extraordinarily happy. I think because the community is so important to all of us. It's the reason we're like all together on that show at all. It's the reason all of us like have jobs and like found the success that we have. Like I don't think any of us would be where we are without Melee.
I tell people it's an adventure. You can work your regular 9-to-5 job, and I feel like people lack that side adventure in their lives where.
Dude, I was trying to say this at the wedding I was at.
Yeah.
It's your window into experiencing like a different part of your life that I think is like really competing in something in general. I think pushes you to do that.
Yeah, man. Well, hey, thank you so much for your time today. Super awesome getting to talk to you again. I guess I'll be seeing you in the Patreon when you have Jmook on there, right?
Yeah. When the Jmook Patreon episodes, well, you'll be watching. I won't
Dude,
even need to tell you.